Well, 2011 started off with some serious flooding. Thanks in part to La Nina, warmer waters across the western Pacific helped feed bigger rain clouds, which then moved inland and dumped all of their contents. In the space of just a week, Rio de Janeiro, Sri Lanka and the Philippines were all deluged with water, as well as, of course, Queensland, where an area the size of France and Germany was underwater. And in February, Cyclone Carlos brought twice the monthly average of rainfall to Darwin in the span of a week, normally 350 millimetres for the entire month. In 1 week, they received 670 millimetres of rain from that slow-moving tropical troublemaker. On the other side of Australia, it was a completely different story. Completely different for Perth in the southwest of Australia. They had their hottest, driest summer on record. Temperatures there well over 30 degrees for some 59 consecutive days. The old record was 53, and it was actually 32 degrees. That was the average maximum for them. Certainly a hot, sweltering summer there. The hot, dry conditions led to bushfires in early February, destroying homes and businesses in the city. So why has Perth had such an extreme dry summer? Well, it's because of the La Nina, stronger easterly trade winds, and with that as well, that takes the stronger easterly wind from the hot, dry interior and just brings all that hot, dry air towards Perth. At the same time, stopping the weather systems from coming in from the west, and as well, making it far drier for Perth. Over in San Francisco, temperature records were broken in an unseasonably warm January, but then in February, snow fell for the first time in 35 years in the downtown area of San Francisco. It was all caused by the negative phase of something by the name of Arctic oscillation. High pressure in the Arctic, a weaker jet stream, that allowed the cold Arctic air to come plunging further south and bring the snow to San Francisco. This border between the really cold air and the really warm air sparked some massive storms across the whole of the eastern seaboard at the end of February. Upstate New York had nearly 2 feet of snow, and Connecticut had widespread flooding. As the warm air moved across the U.S., there were some dramatic temperature changes. Take, for instance, Bartlesville, Oklahoma. On the 10th of February, minus 28 degrees Fahrenheit. And then, some 7 days later, how about 82 degrees Fahrenheit? That's 110 degrees in the span of a week. The powerful storms created by the boundary between the cold and warm air can also spawn tornadoes. Well, a tornado is formed when a warm, moist updraft of air in a thunderstorm, usually from the Gulf of Mexico, works its way in, is hit by a ribbon of air, the jet stream, high in the troposphere of the atmosphere, and as they collide with each other, they form this twisting ribbon of air that eventually starts to drop down in the thunderstorm. And as it does and drops from the cloud, it becomes the funnel cloud. And when that hits the ground, that's the tornado. We'll actually have more on tornadoes later in the show, but speaking of wind, we could be talking about a lot more wind over the course of the year of 2011, because the Atlantic hurricane season is forecast to be a busy one, so perhaps next weather show we'll be talking more about that.